House of Wolf, did you have some other things in mind that you were trying to sort of shine a light on in our modern world when you were writing it, or is anything like that? Did anything like that come out maybe subconsciously, or is there anything consciously that you've written in sort of allegories to modern day?
I didn't want to write a parody. I didn't want it to be, oh, this is about the Blair years, excuse me, or the Johnson years, but I've dressed them all up in costumes. What I did want to do was to say, there's a kind of universality about history that is reflected, I think, terribly well in Shakespeare and terribly well in Brecht, who I think are probably the two playwrights who've influenced me most. And I wanted to do something like they do, which is to set my stuff in this period of history, but for people to be able to enjoy what might be echoes or ramifications of things they're familiar with today.
Yeah, makes sense. And it's interesting you sort of talk about trying to get this sort of feeling of authenticity in the time, and how difficult it is to get close into the brains of these real people that existed. Sure. And I think historical fiction, of course, is the perfect avenue for that, right? It's the perfect medium to be able to explore these things. And I always think that you try to create something that people can read and they think this could have been real. Yeah. Even if we know, I've often said to people that they say, "Oh, it's so well researched. You've done this." And you say, "Well, actually, I think it's probably all rubbish. Like what I've written is probably all made up, or 90% of it is made up. Even though some of the big battles and things will have happened, everything else I've had to make up. And very bit like yourself, you had to make up the story, but you want it to read like it's." It could have been like that.
Yeah, and I think that's particularly true in the Anglo-Saxon period, isn't it? Mm-hmm. We know so much about the Romans because the stuff's still there. We know a lot about William the Conqueror and onwards because the stuff's still there, and people were starting writing and not having these great tomes nicked all the time. In the Anglo-Saxon period, we're in completely different territory. The things that people made were the things that they made because they were influenced by their predecessors in the German forests. Everything was made out of mud and wattle and daub and stuff like that, leather.